Hey everybody and welcome to Hashtag Shout Season 2 Episode 2. My name is Steve Jones 13, the professional producer, hashtag boss, and thank you for joining us on this special show. Now why is it special, you may ask? Well, for the first time in its history, this show only has one presenter. That's right, the low walker on has got a viral infection of audio which leaves him completely down and out for the count. Although, if you ask me, I still think it's a concussion, but who am I to argue with the NHS, right? And Dan, the Geek King Adamson, the maniacal Mark, the patron saint of the socially awkward, he can't be with us because he's with his girlfriend on Valentine's Day, so good on you, bro, and enjoy it. So it's just me left to run the show here because I'm the only one sad enough to do it. So, yeah, no script. No plan, no nothing, just me, a microphone, and a fiancée judging me as she watches via my iPod. He waves to the camera. So yeah, obviously we'll follow the normal format, look at some tweets of the week, look at some news articles, which I know at this point Dad's listening to this and he's falling asleep. So let's just get straight onto it with the tweets of the week. So, our first tweet of the week comes from Ted, which is @LaughBook on Twitter. Oh, your account is protected. What the fuck do you tweet? Nuclear launch codes? And the next one is from the QI Elves at QYikipedia. That's on the screen there. 85% of Valentine's cards are bought by women, but men's Valentine's Day spend is almost twice as much as women's. In other words, ladies, stop buying us fucking cards. Seriously, save your fucking money. In fact, just don't buy cards at all unless you're not going to see a person. You know, cards were invented for the sole purpose of when you weren't going to be able to see someone, you would send them a card. If you are seeing them, why give them a fucking card? You give me a Christmas Day, you give me a Christmas card, which pretty much says Merry Christmas, and you're standing right the fuck in front of me. I'm just going to stare at you. Because I'm not going to buy your ass a card. I'm just going to look at you and say whatever the fucking seasonal greeting is. It's fucking ridiculous. You spend £2 fucking 50 these days on a piece of fucking cardboard which has some bullshit fucking message written by some pseudo-intellect wishing you a happy Valentine's Day. When you're standing in front of the gate. If my fiancé was here right now, you know, like in the room with me, or if we were going out somewhere, I wouldn't buy her a fucking card. Would I buy her chocolates? Probably. Would I take her out to a dinner? Abso-fucking-lutely. Would I bestow gifts upon her aplenty? You're damn fucking right I would. But the one thing she would not receive from me is a fucking piece of card with a fucking hack job poetry written inside it when I'm going to be in front of her. Am I the only person that gets this concept? Really, I cannot be the only guy that's going, hang on a second, she's right in front of me. I'll pass her a piece of fucking card that has a message written on it for me. You don't do normal conversation like this. You know, the only exception to this kind of rule I have is sometimes I write letters to my fiancé because we enjoy the fine art of the snail mail. You know, it's very rarely done these days, except by debt collectors and people who basically want money from you. You know? And yeah, trust me to find a fiancé that doesn't actually want money from me. Score! I'm improving in life. But still, the fact is, you know, we do enjoy cinema because it's a lost art. But, say Geek's going to be here next week, and I'm sitting next to Geek. I'm not going to send him a fucking telegram to say hello. I'll just fucking say it when he's sitting next to me. Stop buying cards for people you're going to see. Especially if I suspect you will on Valentine's Day. You're going to spend the entire day with them. What does that say about you if you can't convey a simple I love you without fucking cutting down a tree first? You fucking nugget. Anyway, our next tweet of the week comes from Dan Kesel at Dan Kesel. If you're sad about being alone on Valentine's Day, just remember, nobody loves you on any other day of the year either. Well put, my good friend. At Nash, Nash Bozard from, as we know, that guy with the glasses, Radio Dead Air. Check it out at Nash076. Ladies and gents, today I hit 4 million views. Thanks, smiley face. Congratulations to Nash Bozard, my favourite personality from the That Guy with the Glasses crew, and of course the producer of Radio Dead Air. Fantastic news for him. Definitely deserves it. Really nice guy. But when I've fallen out with Lord Cat, I've not fallen out with him. You know, this guy understands respect. This guy understands treating your viewers right. So congratulations to him. So those are all the tweets of the week I have for you fine folk. Although I'll quickly throw this one out here. From EL Lane, that's at Lone S Wolf. Yoda is a BAMF, which means badass motherfucker. A freaky fucking badass motherfucker. So let's get on to some of the news of the week. And we might as well start with possibly the biggest news of the week. The biggest news of the entire week. Pope Benedict XIII announces his resignation. Now, this is the first time that a pope has resigned in the past 600 years. Now, a tale, if you go to guardian.co.uk, they have an as it happened tale of the event at 11 in the morning, so 11:01 a.m. Pope Benedict XIII is to resign. The Vatican has confirmed. Joseph Alios Ratzinger, fucking dickhead, papacy began in 2005. This is reportedly only the second time the head of the Catholic Church has stepped down. Sky News is reporting that the Pope will leave office on 28th of February. We'll have all the details reaction here live. Then at 11:09 a.m., Reuters, which brought the news of Pope's resignation this morning, is reporting that the Pope has said in a statement that his strength is no longer adequate for him to continue in office due to his advanced age. He says he is resigning in full freedom and says he is fully aware of the gravity of the gesture. And it moves on and so forth and so forth. A few things. First of all, yay! Woo! Get the fuck out of there, you crazy motherfucker! This guy, the only thing I respect about this, fucking paedophile hiding cunt nugget, is the fact that he actually declared war on Satan. That I respect. As the head of the Catholic Church, he officially declared war on the devil, putting money into this war. That I respect, because that's the fact. That's what his job is as the leader of the church. However, this paedophile hiding motherfucker, in his case, sonfucker, is just one of the most vile sons of bitches I have heard of in the 21st fucking century. Okay, this guy, as a cardinal, when he was known as Cardinal Ratzinger, deliberately hid and protected paedophiles from their victims, and even said in the rules, which of course were written in Latin to try and hide it from the public, that victims of terrible assault were to be silenced. Are you fucking shitting me? It's no fucking secret that I'm not a fan of the Roman Catholic Church. Roman Catholics, I am all for. Catholics can be some of the most awesome people you'll ever meet. I'm great friends with a lot of Catholics. My family are Roman Catholic. But the Roman Catholic Church, at the very least within the boundaries of the Vatican, are some of the worst scum on the planet. Possibly not as bad as Scientologists, though. Who knows, Scientologists know that their religion is fictitious. Roman Catholics at least have history on their side. But, yeah, Pope Benedict XIII pissing off. I believe it ends on February 28th, the last day of the month. And then we'll have a conclave to elect a new pope. Funnily enough, bookkeepers have actually written down the odds of which cardinal or archbishop is going to be made the next pope. You can actually bet on this, people. This is the fucking century we live in. You've got, I'll run them down for you. Cardinal Peter Turkson, 9-4. Cardinal Mark Ouliette, 5-2. Cardinal Francis Arins, 7-2. Archbishop Angelo Scola, 7-1. Cardinal Oscar Rodriguez Maradiga, 10-1. Cardinal Tarcisio Berton, 12-1. Cardinal Angelo Bagnasco, 14-1. Cardinal George Mario Bergigoli, 16-1. Cardinal Leonardo Sandri, 20-1. Cardinal Raymond Burke, 25-1. The same as Cardinal Claudio Humes. And Cardinal Diogo Tetzamanzi and Cardinal Christoph von Schorchburn. Sorry, I actually started choking in the pronunciation of the last one there. Cardinal Christoph von Schorchburn. Cardinal Wilfred Napier gets a 33-1, as well as Cardinal William Levada and Cardinal Camillo Rini. Cardinal Norberto Rivera Caria. Cardinal Francisco Xavier Arzilios Ossa. Cardinal Renato Martino. Cardinal Albert Malcolm Rangis. Archbishop Piero Marini, Cardinal Antonio Canzares Lovera, and Cardinal Keith O'Brien. Thank God the last one was easy enough to pronounce. Those are the odds if you want to make bets. There are other odds offered by other ones. Those ones from Paddy Power. They do amend them every now and then. Ladbrokes have got their own. However, I'm not going to jump into all of them. If you want to place some fucking bets down, why not? See if you can get some money out of the fucking Roman Catholic Church. God knows most charities aren't. You know, unless they say that AIDS is the source, it's because of homosexuality and that Jesus loves everyone. Fucking idiots. Leaving the Pope behind, although not right behind us, because last thing we want is a fucking Roman Catholic cockabarros. Let's move on to different news. News of a completely separate nature. Eddie Izzard is to receive a Cultural Humanism Award. This is from the home of boxoffice.harvard.edu, which is the Office for the Arts of Harvard, the Harvard box office. We are delighted to announce that comedian Eddie Izzard will accept the 6th Annual Outstanding Lifetime Achievement Award in Cultural Humanism, an award presented at Harvard University each year by the humanist community at Harvard, the American Humanist Association, and the Harvard Community of Humanists, Atheists, and Agnostics. Previous recipients have included novelist Salman Rushdie, a punk rock star and biologist Greg Graffin, writer-director Joss Whedon, TV debunkers Adam Savage and Jamie Hyneman of the hit show Mythbusters, humorist Stephen Fry, all hail the Fry, and author Mary Roach. In addition to his humour, Eddie Izzard's political activism, charity work, and support of education reminds us all that the non-religious can be outstanding members of global society. Join us for this celebration performance and an opportunity to ask questions. So congratulations to a man who I think is one of the funniest comedians of our time, Eddie Izzard. Fantastic. Congratulations to Action Transvestites being recognised by the Cultural Humanism Awards. Finally. In other news, a new bar in Toronto has been named after Christopher Hitchens. The party was amazing and really tied in the Hitch theme. The pork was representative of Hitchens' anti-Zionist beliefs, while the use of lamb was a throwback to his public criticism of Mother Teresa. The smokiness was a reference to his ever-present Rothmans, and the heavy onion really spoke to the layers of Hitchens' ideology, from socialist to capitalist to Marxist. This is one of the reviews from the new Toronto bar Hitch, named after the very famous anti-theist Christopher Hitchens. Honestly, I would love to go there, but if I did, I'd probably end up drinking myself to death, because Hitchens was a bit of a drinker, and I'd feel to have at least 20 drinks in his honour. So, Canada doing something right. So, on to some of the more odd news around the world. I've got 5 news articles from around the world in the odd section of the MSN website. That's news.uk.msn.com, if anyone's interested. Young people in Indonesia are being told to ignore Valentine's Day because it is believed to be used as an excuse for forbidden sex. The call came from officials and Muslim clerics. People in one province were also banned from buying gifts. Look, I said stop buying cards, you can still buy the fucking roses, okay? Although, have you noticed, we buy women chocolate and roses, so they get to see things die and then get fat over it. We should probably rethink this. But anyway, many teenagers use the Western holiday as a time to express their love, which often leads to premarital sex, said Idris Abdul Samad, deputy mayor of Depok, a town on the outskirts of the capital Jakarta, which I have to admit does sound like a fucking Klingon territory, but what do I know? I'm a Trekkie and all that jazz. I called on parents not to give their children any chance to celebrate St. Valentine's Day, he said, because they may be expressing love to their lovers more freely. It could lead to forbidden sexual relations. He called on residents to instead take their children to Islamic religious activities. Religious teachers in I think it's Aceh, the only Indonesian province with Islamic laws imposed, pressed ahead with a new rule banning people from buying gifts for Valentine's Day. Celebrations are already banned in the province. It does not reflect love in accordance with Islamic teachings. It's the same as promoting faiths other than Islam, said Tayunggu Faisal Ali, a prominent cleric of the Aceh Ulama Council. Hundreds of students in Jambi on Sumatra Island and Solo in central Java held Valentine's Day protests. Muslim clerics also urged youngsters to avoid celebrations in several cities in Indonesia, including Padang, Rayu, Palembang, and Banten. Indonesia, the world's most populous Muslim country, is a secular nation of 240 million. It has a long history of religious tolerance, but a small extremist fringe has become more vocal and violent in the recent years. Yeah, couldn't give a flying toss if I'm honest, because I don't like Valentine's Day. But I believe that a culture should be free to express their beliefs and to express their love in any way they feel possible, provided it causes no harm to others. So, bit of a dick move, but who am I to judge another culture? At the end of the day, it's not for me to impose my culture on another culture. It would be completely wrong. But I do disagree with shit. A cider owner has been forced to change the name of his business after the Apple shop was inundated by callers asking for phone and computer repairs. Jeff Fisher has sold cider and juice from the shop at Roxham Barnes in Norfolk since 1993. But since the opening of the Apple store in Norwich 4 years ago, he has received an increasing number of calls from iPhone and iPad owners. He said, people would call up and say they had a problem with the iPod, and I told them to chuck it away and have a nice cider to get over it. His number is next to the Apple Store in the phone book, and because it is the local prefix, he believes customers prefer to ring him rather than the technology giant. He estimates that he receives up to 24 calls a week. In one call, an elderly man contacted him to say he had been silly and bought his first computer, an Apple Mac, at the age of 87. Mr. Fisher agreed he had been silly and told him, give it to your grandchildren. From Easter, the shop will be renamed the Norfolk Cider Company to coincide with the refurbishment. The thing is, you know who's to blame for this particular issue? The idiots who are buying the shit. I own an iPod. It's the best way for me to keep in contact with my fiancée. But I can tell the difference between an Apple store and a store that sells cider and juice. There is a fucking difference. I mean, can you really not fucking take the time out in your fucking lives, to get away from your Angry Birds and your Words with Friends, to look up a fucking thing to see maybe if you're not calling the right shop? Just a thought, guys. Just a fucking thought. Jesus fucking Christ. I mean, if you ever wanted cider, who are you calling? Are you calling the Apple Store? Just ridiculous. You fucking morons. Really are. And that's not even the majority of Apple users. Most people use Apple users because the iPod, whether people like it or not, is actually a kind of decent thing. People like to hate on iPods and iPads because it's a popular thing. And the minute something becomes popular, it becomes unpopular, if that makes sense to anybody. It is a bit paradoxical. But if you think about it, it's, people who own these things tend to become elitist in the eyes of others. You notice that people bitch about how overrated iPods are, and then they get one. How do I know? I was one. The shame. But anyway, moving on. The unofficial spokesman for the Calorie and Fat Laser and Heart Attack Grill in Las Vegas has died of a heart attack. John Ellman, 52, was the second unpaid mascot to die in the past 2 years. He collapsed while waiting at a bus stop in front of the diner last week and was taken off life support on Monday. The medically themed diner is famous for its huge hamburgers, extra fat milkshakes, and chips cooked in lard. It uses the tagline, "Taste worth dying for." Owner John Basso said that Mr. Aylman went to the restaurant daily and encouraged passing tourists to try its offerings. He never missed a day, even on Christmas, Mr. Basso said. People just loved him. He connected with people in a real way. Mr. Allman became an unofficial mascot for the restaurant, which features waitresses in nurse garb. His caricature as Patient John graced its merchandise and menus. In 2011, another unofficial spokesman, 41 Stone Blair River, died aged 29. At the time, Fred said pneumonia may have been the cause of death. In 2012, a man in his 40s was hospitalized after he began sweating and shaking while eating a 6,000-calorie triple bypass burger at the restaurant. 6,000 calories. I know people that could eat that as a fucking appetizer. The ominously named diner features tongue-in-cheek health warnings and casts customers as patients. Eaters are given surgical gowns as they choose from calorifically extravagant menus. Basso said Aylman weighed about 13 stones and his death showed heart attacks can happen to anyone. Heart attacks can happen to anyone. Yeah, especially when you're eating 6,000 calories a fucking sitting, you fucking fat noob. I mean, I know of this restaurant. I've never been. I've been to America once and I wasn't in the area, you know. But even if I was somehow absurdly in Las Vegas, I wouldn't go into a restaurant called the Heart Attack Grill. Why would I want to go into a place that is named after a condition I could suffer leaving it? Jesus, fuck. I mean, if you ever feel like you're a fat bastard, please remember this news story, because you will feel miles the fuck better. Unless you're dying of obesity, in which case you'll feel like shit. Or hungry. Anyway, our last news story, I'm going to skip one because it's about George Clooney and no one gives two shits about George Clooney. Fucking try to play Batman, will you? Final news story. A US television station's regular programming has been interrupted by news of a zombie apocalypse. The Montana Television Network says hackers broke into the emergency alert system of Great Falls affiliate KRTV and its CW station on Monday. KRTV says on its website that hackers broadcasted that dead bodies are rising from their graves in several Montana counties. The network says there is no emergency and its engineers is investigating. So hackers hacked into the KRTV and CW news station on Monday and started spreading warnings that there was a zombie apocalypse occurring. Yes, folks, this actually fucking happened. Although I've noticed that the story doesn't go on to say whether anybody fell for it or not. I have to admit, I know a lot of smart Americans, but there's gotta be one or two that will look at each other, grabbing the shotgun and loading up the fucking basement. You just know it, guys. You really just fucking know that was going on. But, you know, I mean, you don't get shit like that in Britain. We're not creative enough for that shit. For us, the biggest kind of, you know, hoax we'll pull is something like, oh, Asda is closing early on a Friday. Oh, what was me? We're not creative enough for shit like that in Britain, you know. It's, you know, it's just not done. Sadly, it should be done. You know, I think Britain needs to step up its game in the fucking news pranking department. But hey, what the fuck do I know? I'm just a pretentious twat on YouTube. Yay! So like I said, that was the tweets, that was the news. Now, as I said, I am alone in this endeavour. Adam is ill. Dan is away getting nookie. And I'm sitting here, a hungry boy, trying to host a show on his own. So the question comes, what exactly do I do for this show? Do I go into one of my extraordinarily wrong rants about someone that's wronged me or someone that's pissed me off? Do I spend the rest of the show plugging as many people as I know on YouTube and DeviantArt and Tumblr? I'll get to that. To be honest with you, I see no reason to prolong, you know, to force anything on you guys. It'd be unfair. So what I've decided to do is I'm going to do some plugging on the show. I'll talk about some of the stuff that we've got coming up in future episodes, and then I'll end the show early, and then I'm going to be recording a Let's Play of a horror game, which I tried to live stream. But apparently, the Moon and Neptune were in fucking alignment, along with Alpha Centauri, which meant that although my internet had been working the entire day, at the precise moment that I decide to live stream something, it fucking dies. And by the way, live stream, the newer version, fuck you. Ruining all my fucking plans, making it twice as hard for people to do shit. Anyway, so, I'll be doing some plugging on the show. Talk about some of the stuff we've got coming up in future episodes, and then I'll be cutting this episode short for me to do an LP of a game called Home. It's an indie game. It takes about an hour and a half to play, I reckon. I'll be doing an LP of it via Frap, so it'll be uploaded to YouTube in several parts. I am going to try and do it in one sitting rather than spread it across weeks or whatever. And by the way, as I'm recording this, I am uploading episode 1 of Season 2, #shout. Why was it delayed, the uploading? Simple. Internet issues. Sony Vegas is still something I'm trying to learn how to use because we now do these shows using Sony Vegas. And you may have noticed that we're not on camera. We were going to be on camera. What happened with that is when we were trying to do a show on camera, you're talking about episodes that can go anywhere up to an hour and a half. When you have a video which is up to an hour and a half in length, you're talking several gigabytes. Our first episode of Shout, it was actually never released. It's going to be released in bite-sized chunks in the future, but it was less than an hour in length, and the show came to 8 gigabytes. Purely on camera, 8 gigabytes. And I tried shorting it down into smaller chunks, and each chunk was still 2.5 megabytes, regardless of how big the files were. So we had a meeting, and we decided that we were going to go back to the graphics. The graphics and audio, whilst throwing in some nice pictures and videos when we can. We prefer it this way. It works better for you guys, so hopefully we can work wonders with it. So, what have we got coming up in the future of the show? Well, next week we've got the #shout quiz returning. Basically, what's going to happen is Adam is the reigning and defending #shout quiz champion, and he'll be defending his championship against Dan the Geek King Adamson, who is absolutely hungry to get that title back since losing it back in 2012. I'll be the quiz master. If you've got any questions you'd like us to ask in that quiz, send them to me via dsdjohnc13@gmail.com, or you could send it to the show's official email account, that is shouttheshow@gmail.com. Other stuff we've got coming up, we've got the DC fan cast. As we've said, we have been working on a Justice League movie fan cast. That's in works. I'm hoping to revisit some past fan casts I did, namely the Question fan cast, see if I can do a better job of it, because last time there was a lot of shit going on. I wasn't in the right frame of mind to get it done. As people could attest to, I was going through a very rough patch back in the back end of 2012. Other stuff we've got coming in the future, we will be looking to do more work with other people, try to get more people on the show, try to share their topics, share the love, get more people notification. So yeah, that's pretty much what's coming up for the future of the show. Business as usual. Me being professional, these two trying to fuck with me the entire fucking time. That's what I got. I actually told them off for fucking talking over the top of me in the last episode. I didn't like it. They're not professional. No. Oh, yes. I know you're listening. You're shaking your heads right now or you're laughing at something. Just remember, next time you talk over the top of me, just remember who makes the fajitas in this house. Oh, yeah, bitch, I went there. Now, with all that being said, talk about some people who I reckon you guys should check out on the World Wide Web. First name that comes into mind, if you're a big fan of artwork, then there's a lot of people I can recommend you to. The first person is the official artist. The first person I want to recommend is the official artist for the show, Rias Cannon. Now, he doesn't really frequent DeviantArt much anymore, if at all, but he still has an active gallery there, which you should definitely check out. Cannonball.deviantart.com. He did all the official artwork for the Wandering Age of Productions, from #shout, #total_markout. We'll get more artwork from him in the near future. Last time I heard, he was working on an internship with Disney. I don't know where that is with him at the moment. But definitely check him out, Rias Cannon, cannonball.deviantart.com. Definitely check him out. He's not on Twitter, he is on Facebook, but I suspect that's for private only, so I don't think you're going to be able to follow him there. But hey, no, maybe one day you'll have a fan page. You never know. Other people got to check out What's One Artist. She has a live stream, she has a DeviantArt, she has a Tumblr. You got to check her out, Lorne S. Wolf. And she has got a YouTube as well. What, Stephen? Are you telling me that you just remember that and you don't have your fiancée on the iPod with a headphone in your ear so she can listen to you, you can hear her whilst you're recording this? Absolutely not. What would give you such an idea? But yes, Lorne S. Wolf has a YouTube account, a Tumblr account, a DeviantArt account, and a Twitter account. Best places to follow, I would recommend DeviantArt, Tumblr, YouTube. Why YouTube? Because she posts she does her speed drawings on there. She does live streams as well, which I'll give you the links to. You can see all the links on the screen there. Basically, she does live streams where you can watch her produce the actual artwork. Then you can go over to a YouTube account where you see the speeded up versions of them, usually accompanied to some fucking awesome music, or sometimes even with commentary. Yeah, she's all professionals and stuffs. Or you can just check out her gallery by going over to DeviantArt, that's laurenSwolf.deviantart.com, or check her out on Tumblr, and for the love of God, this girl's intelligent and she's quite a creative mindset, so you know what you should do? You should ask her some fucking questions. That's what you should do. Go to laurenSwolf.tumblr.com/ask, or head over, I don't know if she has an Ask FM page. You know, yeah. I don't think, if she does, it'll be on the screen. If not, it'll just be an example of her artwork, probably, with a link to her Tumblr page, which you should definitely check out. As for Twitter, again, follow if you want, but I would recommend following a DeviantArt account and a Tumblr account and a YouTube. That would be my recommendation. Other people you should check out, there are loads of people on YouTube you should definitely check out. As we mentioned in episode 1 of Hashtag Shout, you've got to follow Halloween4545. Excellent work there. Excellent work from Halloween4545. He does horror LPs, games like American McGay's Alice, Alice the Madness Returns, Amnesia, Dark Descent, Amnesia, and many other fucking custom stories. And a lot more. Looking at all the YouTube folks that you could possibly follow, I think this week I would have to say the big recommendation, and I know it's going to be a bit of a cheat. But I'm probably going to say the person you should follow this week on the YouTube channel would be... No, I've got to go for it again. I've got to say Halloween4545, simply because that guy deserves more fucking followers on his account. Okay, yes, he has over 40,000 subscribers. He has over 30 million views. But that guy is deserving of your views. Now, next week, I'm going to be taking a look at some works by Lone S. Wolf and plus some other YouTubers. We're going to be looking at some Tumblr accounts, which Geek King will want to share with you guys. We'll also have more tweets of the week and more news articles from around the world if I deem them interesting enough for your listening pleasure. However, that is all we have time for today. What's new? A short episode? Of course a short episode. I'm hosting it on my own, goddammit. I mean, I can't be expected to come with completely entertaining fucking stuff for you. I'm just the guy that keeps the show together. Adam and Dan are the fucking interesting ones. I'm just here to make sure that nothing blows up. So, with all that being said, do join me on my YouTube account to check out my LP of the indie game Home. Will I get the shit scared out of me by a few pixels? Probably. I am a massive coward when it comes to the horror genre. So, from me, Steve Jones 313, the producer, #boss, and do follow me on Twitter, @Steve Jones 313. Follow me on YouTube. If you're not watching this on my YouTube page, then get yourself to youtube.com/user/The Wandering Angel. I'm not the kind of guy that keeps a track of my subscribers or my views, but I would love it if I can get more subscribers. And honestly, guys, if you think there is something I can do to improve the quality of my shows, then send me your critiques. Send me your messages. You can do it via YouTube commenting, YouTube inbox, or send them to my personal email, dstevejones313@gmail.com. Or if you prefer Hotmail, dstevejones313@hotmail.co.uk. Check out my Tumblr, stevejones73.tumblr.com. Check out my DeviantArt, stevejones73.deviantart.com. And check out my Ask FM page. My Ask FM ID is, as you probably guessed, stevejones313. I will answer pretty much any question you send me. The only questions I will not answer is to anything to do with my loved ones or my friends. I do not answer any questions regarding other people like that. But any questions about me, any questions about anything else, perfectly on the table. Cool. So, from SteveJones03, the producer, #boss on Twitter, I thank you for joining us for #Shout Season 2, Episode 2, and I will see you next week on the weekly debate/discussion show, shout.